There are 6 drivers out there who could take pole. There are 2 who desperately need it for their World Championship.
So just looking at the wind speed, looks like it may have picked up a little bit, so just be mindful of that. Turn wind, turn 4.
Will he get into the 11s with this, Hamilton? He does. It's a mid-11 and then immediately gets out of the way.
Here's Nico Rosberg to cross the line. The car that could have blocked Lewis Hamilton there was Daniel Ricciardo. Rosberg crosses the line 3/10 behind his teammate. Felipe Nasser trying to get from 20th somewhere out of the bottom 16. Doesn't. Stays 20th. Disappointment in his home Grand Prix for Felipe Nasser. Started 13th, finished 13th last year. You see now, going towards the centre S's, just what happened to Jenson Button. Big lock-up. Struggling all the way through, and he doesn't improve.
Jenson, that's P17, P17.
Yeah, we definitely sorted those problems out, haven't we?
Kevin Magnussen improved, but didn't get out of qualifying. His teammate, out of Q1, I should say, his teammate, Jolyon Palmer, has. Joining Magnussen, being knocked out of Q1, Pascal Wehrlein and Esteban Ocon. Once again, Wehrlein out-qualifying Ocon by 100th of a second this time. And Marcus Ericsson and Felipe Nasser, Sauber, last on the grid. Nico Rosberg slots in behind his teammate once again. This time the gap is less than, or just over, I should say, 1/10 of a second between Hamilton and Rosberg.
I haven't noticed any tailing off of Massa's performance. He knows he's on the home run now, towards the end of his Formula 1 career, and he's still very much on it. A few spits of rain on the camera lens.
And he is up by 5/100ths of a second on any time he needs to get into the top 10. Fernando Alonso goes 7th fastest as we look now to Felipe Massa and Nico Hülkenberg. Massa next across the line. Can he get in the top 10? He can. He's 9th for the time being. Nico Hülkenberg goes 8th, and that pushes Massa 10th. And Sergio Perez on the track at the moment could beat that. Carlos Sainz might be able to beat that as well. The 2 might need a head start to get out of Interlagos if they manage to do it. Sainz crosses the line. He's missed out on Q3. All eyes on Sergio Perez, who does put his Force India into the top 10. That is a vital moment in the battle between Force India and Williams. Romain Grosjean crosses the line, goes 9th fastest, and that pushes Valtteri Bottas out of the top 10 as well. Williams, who had the pace, they were 3rd and 4th fastest in first practice yesterday, haven't made Q3 while both Force Indias have.
So it's not been a great qualifying for the Brazilian drivers.
His 250th Grand Prix will come in Abu Dhabi, his 13th and final appearance at Interlagos this weekend. And we can follow Rosberg along now. Hamilton's put in a 17.7 for the first sector. It's the best first sector time we've had in this Q3 session. Down the Retro-Posta we go with Nico Rosberg towards the Esquina do Lago, the late descent corner, and he's actually up on his teammate, albeit by a merest fraction. Rosberg's put in a better first sector.
Oh, singing. The engine was singing off the exit of turn 4. Now the unsighted double right-hander. Kiss the first apex, make sure you get the second apex, and get ready for this little right. Climb the curb on the inside, and
we see Toto and Nicky. Now we see Hamilton, as it was, Martin, in the first of the flying laps in Q3. Hamilton then puts in a really good middle sector with his teammate up through the first sector. Hamilton crosses the line and improves on his time. It's a 1:10.7, and that is what Rosberg's aiming for. And Rosberg only a 10th behind on his teammate through the middle sector. It is Hamilton by the merest of margins and climbing his way towards the top of the hill now. Is it going to be a 3rd pole in 3 years at Interlagos for Rosberg? No, it's not. He's missed out by a 1/10 of a second. Hamilton gets pole over his teammate. Mercedes lock out the front row. Behind them, Max Verstappen behind Kimi Raikkonen, who slots in 3rd place. Raikkonen has out-qualified Sebastian Vettel for the 4th race in a row. Verstappen out-qualifies Daniel Ricciardo. Romain Grosjean 7th fastest ahead of Hülkenberg, Perez and Fernando Alonso. Big smiles for a front row lockout from Toto Wolff and Niki Lauda, but I would imagine an even bigger smile under the Ayrton Senna crash helmet of Lewis Hamilton, because he starts on pole for the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2016. After 6 laps behind the safety car, we are now going for it at the Brazilian Grand Prix, and it's Hamilton and the spray that's been kicked up behind him down the back straight. Goes Nico Rosberg, then Kimi Räikkönen. Max Verstappen's very close to Räikkönen. He might have a go here into turn one. Verstappen on the inside of Räikkönen, catches the fin napping and moves up into third place. Great move from the Red Bull driver. Then comes Vettel and Ricciardo and Hülkenberg.
That's what I was talking about. He takes a tight early line in and he's just got a feel on the brake pedal, and he came from so far back. The confidence that Max Verstappen has in these conditions, expect to see more of that.
There is Marcus Ericsson, and he's out of this race as well. Ericsson looks like he's hit the wall as well. The safety car has been deployed. He definitely clipped a little bit of curb and definitely couldn't do much about it.
When it goes quiet like that, David, that's when you've aquaplaned.
Well, Hamilton's got a good start again, as for the second time in this race, he leads the field away as the safety car peels in. Hamilton then, from Rosberg, accelerating up towards the main straight they go. Behind them, under pressure, is the Red Bull, and it's Kimi Räikkönen into the wall, and he almost collects the Red Bull, who does actually hit the front wing. That is a major incident for Kimi Räikkönen. He is out of this race, the second Ferrari to have problems, and by far worse than his teammate Sebastian Vettel. The safety car deployed once again, and Kimi Räikkönen is out of the race.
Yes, he just got a wobble on top of the hill there, and already there was chaos going. Oh, they somehow all miss him. That was terrifying. This is the close one. It's the Manor coming along. And all of a sudden, ooh, that's another brilliant piece of driving.
20 years of age, Esteban Ocon, lightning reactions there from the young man. And that is a red flag. And I would imagine, Martin, the minute race control saw what happened there, they're kind of left with no alternative.
There's too much debris on the racetrack.
Hamilton towards the centre S as he goes. Under braking, Verstappen is late on Rosberg but can't quite close up. Rosberg keeps that second place. Behind them comes Sergio Perez, and then Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo. And oh, there's a very wide turn there by Felipe Nasser, almost making contact with Esteban Ocon. And now down the Retroposta we go. The spray behind us. Now see Max Verstappen overtaking Nico Rosberg. I wanted to wait a couple of seconds to see if it happened, and as they emerged into the light, Verstappen takes second place.
What confidence. The boy just goes and finds grip everywhere else. Okay, you're going there, I'll just go somewhere else then. Boom, P2.
This is Max Verstappen. Oh, Max Verstappen. Can he keep it out of the barriers? Just. How has he managed to keep that away from the Armco? It might still be a very costly move for him, because there is Nico Rosberg into the centre S as we go. Verstappen defending, Rosberg on the outside. Crowd absolutely loving that. They're all up out and out of their seats in the main grandstand.
And here we go.
This is that wobble we were talking about.
Championship flashing in front of his eyes.
So Nico had a half spin, exit of 12 through 13. The race spun up, so just exercise caution.
There is Felipe Massa. In his final Brazilian Grand Prix, Felipe Massa won't see the checkered flag. The safety car is out and breaking the heart of every single Massa fan, and there are tens of thousands of them here. He gets a guard of honour for Mercedes, and that is a lovely, lovely sight. I think all the agony is going to be washed away with this embrace.
Is he pitting? He's pitting.
He is. So yeah. Red Bull, in effect, might have thrown away the points here.
So they've done the math. They've asked him, look, do you think you can fight your way through traffic and make up time on a full wet tyre? He says, well, I can't do anything on the intermediate. So really, it was the only choice Red Bull had.
Sebastian Vettel has been on those tyres for 42 laps, to be fair to him. And Verstappen on those tyres for 19, but nonetheless. Oh, he's giving it a right go again, isn't he? Vettel comes to cover him off, but in doing so, he allows Verstappen the opportunity down the inside. Do they make contact? Sebastian Vettel yields and goes onto the grass as well. Verstappen on the inside. Sebastian Vettel had to concede the place because the Dutchman certainly wasn't moving. Vettel ends up on the grass and Verstappen goes up in a 5th place. Here comes Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz doesn't put up quite as much of a defence as Sebastian Vettel does. And look at that, he is now in 4th place. I would imagine, Christian Horner, you're now looking for the moment where Max Verstappen puts himself on the podium, and you can commentate on it to your heart's content. He's going to have a go. He's going to have a go.
Get the traction. Does he nearly, almost, come on, hang in there. He's going to brave it out. Come on, lad, you can do it. He's done it. There you go.
And the crowd are cheering like crazy underneath us.
It is a first ever victory at Interlagos. The man with the Senna tribute helmet for this weekend takes the checkered flag and wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's Hamilton once more for the 3rd race in a row, taking the victory, but it's his teammate Nico Rosberg who continues to lead in the championship, reaches 2nd place. Max Verstappen raises a finger in celebration this time to his team on the pit wall. What a thrilling drive that was from Max Verstappen today. Sergio Perez finishes 4th.
Yes! Brazil! Nice work, Lewis. That's the Brazilian win, mate.
May have won a world championship here before, but had never won a race here before. 11.5 seconds the difference in the end. What a chaotic 71 laps. Hamilton has won to take the fight to Abu Dhabi to go all the way to the final race of the season. But Rosberg is doing what he needs to do and is in pole position, surely, to lift his first ever world championship.